there's a reel on my Instagram that has gone a little bit viral. It's about me making 400K behind the chair. And there's so many hairdressers that are on there and hairstylists and salon owners who are telling me that it's not possible. I'm like, I will gladly show you the QuickBooks. Like, let's get out the numbers, you know? Like, quit waiting for the magic wand. Like, you just have to get started. It's not gonna come to you. You have to go after it. And it's also not easy.
Just 5 years ago, Tara was behind the chair as a stylist, making $400,000 a year, working 4 days a week. And 5 short years later, she has a business that is on track to do $15 million in revenue this year. And I want to just chop it up with her and have a really awesome conversation about what it's like to be a woman in business and how she's been able to create this success and to normalize women doing cool things, having a family, doing it all, being successful, and not taking any excuses along the way. So Tara, 5 years ago, if you could have told yourself one thing about what it was going to take to get to where you are today, what would that have sounded like?
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't know that I can speak for everyone, but I think that people think growing and scaling a business is just getting more known, and that's sort of all there is to it. But you guys have taught me and my entire company and my team that there's so much operationally, and the people game, that's the thing, the people game. And I can speak that for salon owners. You know, the word on the street and the salon industry is that turnover is heavy. And it's true, I've seen it. I've had it happen to myself. But it's because they're not investing in their people, not giving their people a reason to stay. And you guys have taught us how inside of our organization, we can get people to stay and help us grow. And so we're leveraging our people and their goals. And I just never knew that was a thing before. Don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, because no one's really talking about how important people are to the equation. I was literally just talking to a group of people 20 minutes ago about how they're saying that people is their biggest constraint in their business. They're saying that their team members are disengaged. They're saying all of this stuff about the problems with their people, and yet they spend very little time actually solving those problems. They don't talk about their goals. They don't create job descriptions. They don't have aligned incentives. They don't even pay attention to what their recruitment site says about their brand and their reviews, and yet they expect that these problems are just gonna magically get solved by them going to a conference and investing in themselves as a business owner, but not really thinking about how to invest in their team.
Right.
What would you say is like the number one thing as a business owner that you've invested in for not just yourself, but to grow and develop your team? Like the time aspect, like where you've essentially crafted your energy to be like, I'm investing this thing in my team so that they grow.
Yeah. So, you know, I think I woke up my business is 5 years old, and I woke up probably 4 years ago as we started to hire more people because we needed help. And I realized like, oh my goodness, this isn't about me at all. And it shouldn't be. And so now my team, you know, we are all in, you know, with Cardone Ventures, and you guys are teaching my team how to come to work every single day and to have the same energy that I had as the business owner. And matter of fact, now it's to the point where they have so much energy, they pull me. Even when I'm having a bad day or something, you know, they have the energy. And so, you know, the time that we've invested in the money, we spent our last time on education and getting in the room with people who have done the things that I want to do. I mean, I want to grow this business too. I used to say 150 million, but I think that goal's a little small now.
Why I think it's so small, Terry.
It's so small. And so, you know, you have to invest time with people who have done it. But that's the thing. Even in my industry, and I know in all industries, people are investing so much time and money into people that haven't really done what they're wanting to do. They just show up really well on social media. So that's what I love about you and Brandon. You guys have you've done the thing. And so I'm just literally mimicking exactly what you guys are doing, and it's working. And we're scaling really fast.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
How do you navigate the growth with being a wife and being a mom and having really created this business that's successful in such a short period of time?
Yeah, you know, like I think people lie if they're like, you know, I don't have the mom guilt and I don't have, you know, the wife guilt. And, you know, I wake up some days and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to spend more time. But what have brought me the peace, and I think I know that you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, is because we're so aligned. My husband and I are so aligned with our goals together in the business, and, you know, the guilt and all of that people have. I know I talk to hairdressers, especially every single day, salon owners, and they have that. And it's because they're not aligned with their goals. They don't really know what they're doing every single day. And so navigating it is never easy. I have to pick and choose and be 100% present when I'm there, no matter when I'm there. But I'm just thinking about the life that I'm going to be able to provide for my child that I never had. And so many people in my industry and a lot of industries can't provide.
And you're able to create a different opportunity because you did have the hard conversations. I remember like the hard conversations for Brandon and I were actually the goal conversations, because when you aren't talking about goals with your spouse or your significant other, starting the conversation feels very daunting because there is such a lack of alignment and it's awkward.
Right.
And you're like, well, I want this thing and you want this thing, but they're different things. So do we just end the relationship? And it's really an art navigating what somebody wants versus what you want, and just being patient and loving and understanding and thinking about the long term while it's hard to confront that it might not be aligned right now and you guys might be on two separate pages. How did you have the same experience?
Yeah.
How did you like navigate if you guys were on different pages, sticking with it to have the better conversation to get aligned?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so true. If you've really sat down to set real goals, like, that's the hard part. Going after them, to me, is the easy part, because you get momentum and it's the hustle, and that's the fun part. But actually sitting down to figure out what those goals are, to me, I don't know about you, but I think that's sometimes very difficult. And I think with Josh and I'm so thankful because he's always been supportive, and I know not everyone has that. But the one thing that him and I do agree on when it comes to setting goals is if you're talking with your partner or anyone to try to align those, just take yourself out of it. It's not always about you and what you want. And if you do that, I feel like your goals do come true, and the dreams do come true, and the goals do get met, and the targets get met because you're helping the people around you, so they're helping you. So it's just a team effort, you know? I think everyone goes into goal setting and target setting, thinking about what they want. And it's the same thing with my employees, you know? You guys have taught me this. Like, my goals are getting met because I'm helping, you know, people in my organization help make their dream income, and it's just how that works. So
I really did learn this from my husband when it comes to goal setting. If you don't put the other person above your goals, it's always going to feel like a battle and a war. But if you recognize that if you help them hit their goals, they're going to help you hit yours, the battle goes away and the emotion goes away, because you're able to actually make progress and see that they're winning. So they're comfortable and secure with you winning. And as a woman in business, it was very difficult for me to figure out what my place was, especially because of the relationship and the experience gap that Brandon and I have had. But him prioritizing, like Natalie being successful in the things she wants to be successful in, make me so happy to make him successful in the things he wants to be successful in.
I think a lot of people approach them, is this just how we're taught or maybe how we're wired? And you think goals are just, you know, what do you want out of life? It's like, well, you know, yes, but if you think about everyone else around you, I think it's so much easier to accomplish those. It becomes a different environment, especially in our organization, but also at home, you know. Josh and I are always sort of battling for each other because we know exactly what the other one wants. We have very different goals. That's the thing. Like, we don't really work together. We do, but he works more on our real estate, where I'm working in the hair extension business. And at the end of the day, you know, he's battling for what I want. I'm battling for what he wants. And it really becomes a team effort. And it has to be that way. Can't do it by yourself. I've learned that, you know.
Unless you want it to end in divorce or pain. Yeah. There was a switch that happened for Brandon and I with having conversations around our goals, where we really had to prioritize focusing on conversations, even the small conversations, the ones that happen in the car ride, to not just be about the problems that we have today, but to shift our mindset to say, we're going to talk about what the future is in these small, short moments, these brief moments that we have together. And couples who do that, I do see create the future that they're looking to create because they're focused on the future instead of just being focused in those tiny, short little moments on what the goals are. And people think it's this like big, long process. Like, oh, I have to sit down, I have to be on a beach someplace, and I have to have this goal setting conversation where we're just like kumbaya.
A date night even?
A date night.
It doesn't have to be that.
No, it doesn't have to be a date night. It's like those small moments where you're not talking about the person that quit on you and that you can't do anything about in this negative circumstance, but you're focused on, okay, like, man, in a year from now, could you imagine if we're able to do this cool thing?
Yeah. One thing I would tell you that has helped so much with Josh and I, which he's a very positive person, which I'm so thankful for. I don't go home. If I've had a bad day, I don't, it's not that I want to like tell him about it. You normally can tell maybe, but
Yeah.
it's like, don't
Spidey
start a
sense.
conversation with how bad your day was, you know, like start it more talking about the good things. And I feel like at the end of the conversation, we always end up talking about seriously the good things and like, oh my gosh, look at what we get to do. Look at, you know, all the things that is happening for us. And we don't even mention the bad. And I just think that's how we go so fast because we're not focusing on, because everyone has bad. If you focus on it, it's just like lingers, you know? So.
Walk me through the mindset change that you've experienced over the last 5 years from going from like making $400,000 a year and becoming somebody who's even confident saying, I'm going to make $15 million this year. And in the future, my $250 million target seems still just like a little small.
Yeah.
What was the mindset shift that you can like point back to and say, man, this thing really helped for somebody who is making $400,000 or $100,000 right now that can't quite see how to think different to get to where they want to go?
Yeah, you know, there's a reel on my Instagram that has gone a little bit viral. And it's about me making $400K behind the chair. And there's so many hairdressers that are on there and hairstylists and salon owners who are telling me that it's not possible. I'm like, I will gladly show you the QuickBooks. Like, let's get out the numbers, you know?
I got receipts.
Let's go. But, and I hate that because I can help them and you know, we can change their mind. But, you know, the one thing that I've always done right is just be around people who are doing more than me. If you're in the room and you're the most successful or you're making the most money, it's not always about money, but if you're in the room and you're doing the most, you know, you got to get out of that room quickly. And I think that's what I've done from day one. I just have always put myself at tables that I don't belong at. But here's the thing, like people, that doesn't just come overnight. You know, you can start small. You can, you know, you don't have to get in the room with the most, your biggest mentor ever first. But I highly recommend just making sure that you're not the most successful. And then that's the thing with, same thing with hairstylists. You can't be around a bunch of broke hairstylists because you'll be the next broke hairstylist. Can't get around a bunch of salon owners who aren't profitable and don't make any money because you will be the next person just like them. So I've always known that. And that's what I've done right.
What piece of advice would you give for the person that is sitting here watching this in their bed, looking to build a business, looking to create the success that you've had, to create the success and duplicate what you've been able to create?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I tell a lot of people just like quit waiting for the magic wand. Like you just have to get started because it's not gonna come to you. You have to go after it. And it's also not easy. So like expect it. And so I feel like if you expect it to be hard and be willing to do the hard things, then things are going to start happening. It's the momentum, you know, like you never feel good when you go to the gym. You feel good when you leave the gym. So keep that in mind. It's the same thing with success. You have to get started and then you're going to start feeling good. Not always, but just keep going, go after it because it will never come after you. Ever.
An inspiring story. I am so excited to be able to share more content just like this, but want to know, is this what you're interested in hearing? Let me know in the comments if you would like to see more of this type of content and what additional stories you would like to hear that resonate with your journey, that are clearly articulating where you want to go and the tips and tricks and tools that you want to learn in order to get there. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, and I will see you next time.